The first project in the DCU, Creature Commandos, features a few members of Batman's Rogues Gallery, specifically Doctor Phosphorus and Clayface, but that's likely just the start. If we dive headfirst into this new universe, it could be assumed that a lot of Batman's Rogues Gallery will eventually be adapted and thus would need to be cast. In this video, I'll be giving my thoughts for the castings of all of Batman's greatest villains. Like in previous fan casting videos, while I will be choosing an actor for each character and even show you what they could look like, that's not the point of the video. The point is to describe what the casting call of each character should be and finding the actor who fits the casting call the best, or in the case of some looser casting calls, the actor that just feels like a good fit to me for that character. Now, both Dr. Phosphorus and Clayface are voiced by Alan Tudyk in Creature Commandos, but in live action, only one of them could be linked to him. Dr. Phosphorus in his human form, or Alex Sartorius, is clearly modeled after Alan Tudyk, although even then, it's vague enough that Alan could probably also play someone else in live action, because even if Dr. Phosphorus does eventually appear in live action, him in human form probably never will. Still, let's just say that Dr. Phosphorus is played by Alan Tudyk, and Clayface, once making the transition to live action, will be cast as someone else. Basil Karlo needs to be male, but every other physical attribute I think could be open, including height, ethnicity, and hair color. Everything else depends on what they're doing with the character. Typically, he's an ugly failed actor, in which case they should go for someone unattractive, but there are also rumors that in the movie that he's going to be getting, he's going to be played by somebody a lot younger. Maybe in this version, Clayface will have been a actually successful movie star, and then he gets deformed, and that's a part of his origin story. Based on what I think of Clayface, I'd say anywhere between 20s and 40s is fine. I'd also say the actor should probably be able to do motion capture depending on how they create Clayface. The first episode of Creature Commandos gave me the idea that Zac Efron would actually be a great choice for this role. What if that wasn't a picture of Zac Efron, but rather Basil Karlo, a famous celebrity and former heartthrob who is past his prime and deformed as he's turned into Clayface. Zac Efron has proven his acting prowess as well, so he would be my choice. Creature Commandos might not be where the Batman villains of the DCU begin. We don't quite yet know the canonicity of their appearances, but a few Batman villains appeared in the Suicide Squad, and I think most of them should have their actors brought back for the role, and if they aren't brought back, then those actors should just simply be the basis for the casting calls for who are replacing them. This includes Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Taika Waititi as Ratcatcher, Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2, and David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man, although the only one of those, if their actor doesn't appear, who will probably return, is Harley Quinn. The only one from that movie who should be recast is Calendar Man, who cameoed, played by Sean Gunn. For one, I don't think that's a good casting at all, but also Sean will play Maxwell Lord among other characters he voices, and so can't very well be Calendar Man. Calendar Man needs to be male and willing to go bald, any adult age, any height, any ethnicity, and any hair color, while being able to play obsessed and creepy. The actor who jumped out at me for the role is Michael Emerson, who I think could do a great job, even if he is in his 70s. The Suicide Squad is mostly canon, but Suicide Squad is absolutely not, meaning every other Batman villain who appeared there should definitely be recast, aside from Harley Quinn. And to go with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, the DCU needs a Joker. Margot is currently 34, and I think Joker should be around that age, or maybe a bit older, somewhere between early 30s to mid 40s. He needs to be male, should probably be white, he's never not been, but I think other ethnicities could probably fit if the actor doesn't have any very striking features unique to any race. Hair color also does not matter at all, since it'll be dyed to an unnatural color anyway. The actor should be tall and lanky, have a good Joker laugh and smile, high energy, and be able to play a psychopath. Bill Skarsgård's name has been floating around as an option, but they should try to avoid comparison to Pennywise. I think Jake Gyllenhaal could fit really well if he slims down, better than he would fit as Batman, but my choice, and this was written before he was cast as the next American Psycho, would be Austin Butler, a great actor who's proven he could play a sadistic villain. He has a very jokery looking face and is tall and skinny. He's a bit younger than Margot, but by less than a year, and with all the makeup on the Joker, it's hard to tell how old he is anyway. Deadshot needs to be male, should be in his 40s or 50s, old enough to have an adult daughter, above average age, any ethnicity and any hair color, great physical shape, while being able to play someone suave and badass. There are probably many great options for the role, but the actor who jumped out at me is Diego Luna, most famous for playing Andor, a character who is relatively similar to Floyd Lawton, but this would be a more morally corrupt version of that character. I think he'd be perfect as Deadshot. Also appearing in Suicide Squad, Killer Croc's actor should be male, could be any adult age up to mid-40s, should be tall and muscular for the Killer Croc CGI proportions to be right, and it'd probably be better if he was good at motion capture. As for his ethnicity, he's been depicted as white before, but also is very commonly portrayed as black, something that's mostly set in over the years. So the actor who plays him I think should be black, and my choice would be Winston Duke, who could maybe move over from Marvel. Also connecting to the Suicide Squad is Birds of Prey, which features a few Batman villains of its own. Black Mask needs to be male, could be anywhere from his 30s to 50s, should be above average height, and could play a lot of anger. His ethnicity should probably be Italian, but it doesn't really need to be. Anything vaguely similar is fine. He could also have any hair color, that doesn't matter. I think a perfect casting would be Walton Goggins. Black Mask's anger could probably be mitigated by some quality sleep, so I think he should switch out his black mask for a second mask, the sleep masks of Manta Sleep, the sponsors of today's video. Manta Sleep is dedicated to getting you the best possible night's sleep you could get, with very comfortable sleeping masks that allow you to shut off any light coming in while relaxing your eyes with super soft eye cups, which, like the mask itself, are completely adjustable to fit any head size or eye placement. I tried a few of their masks and had some of the best sleep of my life, especially with the added earplugs to drown out any unwanted sounds. There are many options for masks, each with their own benefits, including one with Bluetooth capabilities to fall asleep to white noise music or a podcast of your choosing. Beyond giving you a good night's sleep, Manta Sleep have created their own pro-nap movement, because sometimes a nap is exactly what is needed. So for anyone struggling to fall asleep during the day, you could turn day into night with Manta Sleep's masks. Make sure to use the link in the description down below and use discount code TBL10 for 10% off your purchase and to support the channel. Sleep better today. The other Batman villain appearing in Birds of Prey was Mr. Zsasz, who should be absolutely different from his portrayal in that movie. He should be a lot more sadistic and psychopathic, and I think should be bald. He could be anywhere from late 20s to early 40s, around average height, and any light-skinned ethnicity. Michael Mandat would be great in the role, but my choice is James McAvoy, a very different comic role than Professor X, but one I think he'd nail just as well. Speaking of connecting to Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy should absolutely appear in this universe, and when she does, the actress who plays her needs to be female, should be around Harley's age, so let's say late 20s to mid 30s, should be white and ginger, and could be of any non-extreme height. She should also be very attractive and should probably have chemistry with Harley, although I can't exactly prove that. A few actresses who could fit are Karen Gillan, who's a bit above the age range, Madeline Petch, who could work, or my top choice, Olivia Cooke. I think she should join Millie Alcock in moving from House of the Dragon to the DCU. The Penguin would need to be differentiated from Colin Farrell's portrayal, starting off with maybe casting an actor who wouldn't need any makeup to look like the Penguin, someone overweight, short, with a bit of an unattractive face, maybe a big nose, and also maybe a bit older to mirror how Batman is deep into his career. The Penguin should be as well. Otherwise, the Penguin has never been portrayed as anything other than white, and with either black, brown, or no hair. Jonah Hill was almost cast in The Batman and could work, but my top choice is Toby Jones, a 58-year-old actor who could either play his age or a lot younger, and Oswald would just be really ugly. He is blonde, but I think he should go bald for the role anyway. The Riddler would be a lot easier to differentiate from his portrayal in The Batman. In the DCU, they should go with somebody a lot more comic accurate. Riddler needs to be a man. He could have any hair color. He should be tall and lanky and should be in his 30s or 40s, which does eliminate older options like Sam Rockwell or Neil Patrick Harris. He should be able to also play intelligence, cocky, comedy, and a bit of showmanship. A popular fan cast who I think fits really well is Matthew Gray Gubler, who would also be my choice. Like the Penguin, Two-Face should be somebody who is a bit experienced, having been around for a while. Let's say someone in his 40s to early 50s. He should be above average height, handsome without the makeup, charming and confident, while also being able to play a lawyer, as well as intense anger. Ethnicity-wise, I think white is ideal because the design is changed drastically otherwise, but I wouldn't be completely against a race-bent Two-Face. He should have black or brown hair though. A few actors who could fit are John Hamm, my choice for an older Batman, Sam Witwer, as well as Josh Hartnett, my top choice for Harvey Dent. The Scarecrow needs to be male, could be anywhere from his 20s to 40s, could have any non-extreme height, any ethnicity, and any hair color, while the actor should be relatively skinny and able to play intelligence and somebody scary. Ideally, I'd say the DCU Scarecrow should wear his mask at all times, so the actor should be able to convey emotion through the movement of his body and body language. My choice here, based on a few past performances, is Evan Peters, who I think can knock the role out of the park, whether that be in the DCU or the Batverse. Mr. Freeze feels long overdue for another cinematic appearance. He's easily the most popular choice for the villain of the Batman Part 2, but could just as easily and even more likely appear in the DCU. This fan casting, however, could very well apply applied to both. Freeze needs to be a man, should be at least in his 30s, and could go all the way up to his 60s. He should be imposing, so above average height, any ethnicity, and any hair color, potentially willing to go bald, and could play intelligence alongside a powerful sense of loneliness and love. A relatively popular choice that I really like is Ralph Fiennes, who previously played an iconic cinematic villain, and I think should do it again. Bane is an interesting character since if he's adapted accurately, he would always be wearing a full face mask. He might also be enhanced or even created by CGI, whatever that may be, in case they just want to show him maskless at any point, and when he's not juiced by venom, there should definitely be an actor filling that role, not just voice acting. One that is built like a wrestler, above 6 feet tall, is somewhere in his 30s or 40s, Latin American, any hair color, and willing to go bald, and could play both imposing and intelligence. My choice is Marco Zeror, a wrestler turned actor who seems like an absolutely perfect fit. For the longest time, the top fan cast for Bane was Dave Bautista, but it's clear he's aged out of the role, slimmed down, and is now more interested in a less physical one. Now, he'd be a perfect fit for Hugo Strange, who should be in his 40s or 50s, around or above average height, could be any ethnicity, any hair color, and willing to go bald, able to play someone very intelligent, and is in good physical shape. Hugo Strange would be a huge departure from Drax, especially in intelligence, but I think Dave Bautista could easily pull it off. Ra's al Ghul will almost certainly appear in Batman Brave and the Bold, potentially as the main villain. When that happens, Ra's actor should be male in his 40s or 50s while the character is centuries old, above average height and in great physical shape, and can play someone who feels like he's wise beyond his apparent years, is badass, and a leader. The ethnicity of Ra's is a bit complicated because basically anything from South Asian to Middle Eastern to a mix of the two to ethnically ambiguous is fair game. And my top choice is Oded Fehr, who is currently 54 and fits basically all of the criteria. As for Talia al Ghul, I already cast her alongside other villains who are members of the Bat family like Red Hood and Catwoman in my Bat family fan casting video, which you should watch after watching this one. Manbat has been practically entirely absent from live action media, and I for one would love to see him on screen. His actor needs to be male, could be anywhere from in his 30s to 50s, he just needs to be old enough to be an established scientist but not too old. He could be of any non-extreme height and any ethnicity, could play intelligence, and preferably has experience with motion capture. I like the idea of Toby Kebbell playing Kirk Langstrom. He fits all the criteria, has motion capture experience, and should be given another opportunity to play a comic villain after being cast in the terrible Fant Four Stick. The Mad Hatter should be male, could be anywhere from in his 20s to mid 40s, could be any ethnicity and have any hair color, and importantly should be under average height. He should also be able to play someone very wacky and quirky as well as sadistic and obsessed. A younger Charlie Day would have been great in this role, but a current Daniel Radcliffe would be great as well. In that case, it'd be really interesting and kind of funny to see Mad Hatter and Mr. Freeze teaming up. Firefly was meant to be played by Brendan Fraser in Batgirl, but that was never released. I think Fraser is a fantastic casting for Robot Man, but not really so much for Firefly. When I think of Firefly, I think of an absolutely batshit crazy pyromaniac, and so his actor should reflect that. The actor could be anywhere from in his 20s to 50s, any height, any ethnicity, and any hair color. My choice is Steve Ogg, best known for playing Trevor in GTA. He and all the characters he has ever played feels like he has the exact energy that Firefly needs. Killer Moth should be played by someone who could also feasibly play Batman, but an inept, villainous one, since that's basically what Killer Moth is. He needs to be male, should be around Batman's age, so let's say mid 30s to early 40s, above 6 foot, white, any hair color, and great physical shape. My choice is Ben Barnes, someone whose name is mentioned in Batman fan castings, but I don't think he fits quite perfectly. For Killer Moth though, he just might. It'd also be quite different from his previous comic book villain portrayal of Jigsaw on The Punisher. Kite-Man was mentioned in Peacemaker as an enemy of his, which is something that may or may not be canon, but regardless, Kite-Man might very well appear at some point on Peacemaker, and if he does, he should be played by a man in his late 20s to 40s, not too short, any ethnicity, any hair color, and great physical shape, and I think he should be played by a comedian, given the comedy that typically surrounds him. I think Bill Hader would absolutely kill this role, as shown by his performance in Barry. Cassandra Cain has been confirmed for the DCU, and so her parents should appear as well. Lady Shiva needs to be female, should be in her 30s or 40s, any height, Asian, with black hair, in great physical shape, and someone who could maybe pull off looking like a natural fighter. A few actresses who could fit include Maggie Q, Jamie Chung, and my top choice, Deechan Lockman. As for Cassandra's father, David Cain, he needs to be male, is always portrayed with white hair, so should be in his 40s or 50s and have either gray or white hair. He should also be white, in great physical shape, and able to portray an abusive supportive father. The casting call reminds me of Deathstrokes from the Teen Titans video, and in fact, my second choice for Slade, Eric Dane, would be my top choice for David Cain. The KGBeast should be played by a man in his 30s or 40s, muscular, over 6 foot tall, in great physical shape, any hair color, and from any of the former Soviet countries as long as they speak Russian fluently. My choice is Andrei Arlovsky, a mixed martial artist and actor from Belarus. Professor Pig's actor should be male, anywhere from late 20s to 50s, any non-extreme height, any ethnicity, any hair color, at least mildly overweight, and not conventionally attractive, and could play super creepy and sadistic. I think Jesse Plemons would be an absolutely perfect choice if his roles in Breaking Bad and Black Mirror are any indication. Regardless of if the Court of Owls appear in the Batman saga or the DCU, the casting call for the main member, Talon, should be the same. He should be a man anywhere between his late 20s and early 40s, above average height, white and or Romani, any hair color, and great physical shape. A younger choice who could work is Jacob Elordi, while an older choice would be Adam Driver, which would be my pick. And finally is Hush, who should be in his 30s or 40s, around or above average height, white, any hair color, could play intelligence, and should probably have strong facial features to look unique under bandages. My choice is Theo James. With all the characters cast, here is what the Batman Rogues Gallery of the DCU would look like. Check out my other fan casting videos, and thanks for watching.